Hello class, I've come up with a very interesting chapter on geography titled Forest and Wildlife Resources taken from class 10 CBSE, and I'm trying to cover half of the chapter in this session. Children, is it possible for us to survive without forest and wildlife? Can you imagine? That is why today I have come up with the topic and we will talk about what is the impact of forest and wildlife in our life. We humans, along with all living organisms, form a complex web of ecological system in which we are only a part and very much dependent on this system for our existence. For example, the plants, animals and microorganisms recreate the quality of air we breathe. Hence, we human beings, along with plants and animals, we form the ecological system or the biodiversity. This planet Earth, this beautiful planet, where we have got beautiful forests, which are known as the flora, and we human beings, we share this flora to or with the wildlife as well. We coexist together here. So imagine that if these plants and wildlife are not there, what would happen to us? In this chapter, we will deal with or we'll try to understand flora or the plants, which will be dealt a bit later, and fauna, which is animal of India. So we'll try to understand about the flora and the fauna which are found in India. So we can understand that India is one of the world's richest countries in terms of its vast array of biological diversity and has nearly 8% of the total number of species in the world. Many species which are found in India are found nowhere else. So we are very rich in different types of plants and animals. We are a vibrant country. We are a very, very diverse country in terms of flora and fauna. Similarly, these diverse flora and fauna are so well integrated into our daily life that we take these for granted, which means that we don't even care, we don't even give importance because they are integrated to our life. They are intimately connected to our life. They are inextricably connected with our life. However, they are under great stress. This is the irony here. They are under great problem or situation mainly due to our insensitive attitude towards them. Around 10% of India's recorded wildlife and 20% of mammals are on the threatened list. This is a very, very serious situation. Can you imagine why? Whose fault it is? Whose actions have led to this kind of condition? So after this very rich diversity of flora and fauna in India, now let me come to the categorization of species which are found in India, and let us also try to understand what are the conditions which we have created and why these animals, especially the animals which are in the threatened list, why they have become the threatened or endangered species. So first, let us try to categorize the species. First is the normal species. With normal species, there is no much problem. Normal species are the species whose population level is considered to be normal. That means they are not much threatened. These species include cattle, the plant like sal tree, pine tree, and the animals or the rodents. These are the normal kind of species which do not have that much problem. The next category of species is the endangered species. Endangered means in the near future they may not be able to survive. Endangered is threatened species. So these are the species which are in danger of extinction. Extinction here means that in the near future we will not be able to find them. They will be vanished. And the survival of such species is difficult if the negative factors, about which we will talk later, that have led to the decline, which means that have led to the fall in number of these animals in their population continue to operate. Here we have some pictures of the endangered species which are, as I said, threatened and which we may not be able to see in the near future. This is Sangai, it's a kind of deer which is particularly found in Manipur, and it is also the state animal of Manipur. The ironical fact here is that this animal, which we can see in less number today, may not be able to survive in the near future. Our future generation, our posterity may not be able to see this. And the next endangered animal is this one, a very, very magnificent looking animal, black buck, which is also an endangered species, which is also threatened, and our future generation will see this animal only in the pictures. After this, we have vulnerable species. Vulnerable here refers to species which are exposed to threats or being harmed or attacked. So these are the species whose population has declined. That means the number of these animals have also gone down to levels from where it is likely to move into the endangered. If we are not careful, these will also become endangered species in the near future. So they can move into the endangered category in the near future if the negative factors continue to operate. From the vulnerable species, I have some pictures for you to see. This is blue sheep, a very majestic animal which is also very, very vulnerable. Next we have Gangetic dolphin, which also comes under the vulnerable species. Next we have Asiatic elephant, which is also a vulnerable species. These are hunted down for the different body parts which are sold around in the local as well as in the international market. Next we have the category of rare species. The species with a small population which may move into the endangered or vulnerable category if the negative factors affecting them continue to operate. This is one of the rare species. This is Himalayan brown bear, which have become very, very rare. Next rare species are hornbill or the desert fox. These also have become very rare. Next we have endemic species. Endemic species are the species which are only found in some particular areas, usually isolated or separated by some natural or geographical barriers. They are not found around everywhere. They are particular to some regions. Like we have this animal which is known as Mithun, which are found in northeastern region of Arunachal Pradesh. Next we have wild pig, which is found in Andaman and Nicobar region. Another one we have is Nicobar pigeon, which is also the endemic species which are found in the areas of Andaman and Nicobar Island. Next, we have the category of extinct species. Extinct means which are not found, or these are the species which are not found today in the areas or from the areas where they existed earlier. One such example is pink-headed duck. Another example we have is Asiatic cheetah. These animals have become almost extinct, which are not even found in the habitat. So we have seen some of the animals have already gone. Hence, the need of the hour is conservation. Conservation means protection of natural environment to prevent it from further deterioration. If we do not conserve, if we are not conscious enough to conserve the wildlife, then the time will come that almost all the animals and the plants will become extinct. So, to continue with conservation, a global organization is there that is known as IUCN. It stands for the International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. It is the world's oldest and largest environmental organization, founded in 1948. It is also called the World Conservation Union, and this organization is working for the conservation of the animals and the plants which are becoming extinct. So I was talking about the negative factors which have led to the danger, or which have led to the threatening condition of the existence of the animals and the plants. So these are the negative factors which have caused such fearful depletion of flora and fauna. First thing is that we have transformed, we means we human beings, we ourselves have transformed nature into a resource, obtaining everything directly and indirectly from the forest and wildlife. We get everything from the nature, and while doing so, we are destroying the nature as well. It is we ourselves who have depleted our forest and wildlife. We human beings are mostly responsible for the destruction of the habitat, destruction of the flora and fauna. Next is that the depletion of forest resources between, we can see this data from India, the depletion of forest resources between 1951 and 1980, according to Forest Survey of India, is staggering. It's over 26,200 square kilometers. That means this much of area has been destroyed between 1951 and 1980. This is because of our own action. Another thing is that the large-scale developmental projects have also contributed significantly to the loss of forest. In the name of various projects, we are destroying the forest, and in turn we are also destroying the habitat where the animals and the birds live. From 1951 to 1990, over 5,000 square kilometers of forest was cleared for river valley projects. Yes, we are making different projects, and these different projects also have led to the depletion or the destruction of the forest. We have an example here. For example, Narmada Sagar project, only this project, which is there in Madhya Pradesh, has inundated, that means it has submerged 40,000 hectares of forest. Can you imagine this situation? Another thing is the protected area, however, means different thing for different people, and it also has generated conflict. That means for some people, forests are the resource base, forests are the places from where they get earning. And for some other people, forests have become the source of income. They make the different kind of projects there. They start the different kind of developmental projects. It has got two parts. It has got the conflict. For some people, this is the place where they need to survive. For some other people, this is the place from where they get their benefit or the profit. Habitat destruction. Another point is that we human beings are destroying the habitat. Habitat means the place where the different animals, different birds, they live, they survive. So we have destroyed their habitat. There is illegal hunting, which means poaching. So hunting, poaching, as I said, poaching is an illegal hunting. Over-exploitation of resources, environmental pollution, poisoning and forest fires are some destructive factors which have led to destruction of environment. Overpopulation is cited as one of the major cause, one of the main cause of the environmental degradation, and the overpopulation which is there mostly in the poor countries. So this is one of the reasons which is taken as the destruction or the depletion of the resources. But if we look at the reality, it is something else. Like Americans consume 40 times more resources than an average Somalian. That means American people, America, which is a very rich country, USA, which is a very rich country, there the people uses more resources than the resources which are used by the people of the third world countries like Somalia in Africa. So we have seen the negative factors which have caused the depletion of the resources. Now we have the need of the hour, that means the conservation of forest and wildlife in our country also, in our own country, that is in India. Conservation in the background of the decline in wildlife population, as I said or explained earlier, wildlife population and forestry has become very, very important. It has become essential, and if we do not do something today, then it will be very, very late. In the 1960s and 70s, conservation demanded a national wildlife protection program. Hence, from that time, Government of India initiated the various kind of programs. The Indian Wildlife Act was implemented in the year 1972 with various provisions for protecting habitats. The central government also announced several projects for protection or the protecting specific animals which were gravely threatened, including tiger. Today, hunting is completely banned. So these are some of the steps taken by the Government of India for the protection of wildlife. This is very important, which is the need of the hour, and we must also be the part of this conservation project. So our government had to pass the different laws or the act. One such act is Indian Wildlife Protection Act. It is an act for the conservation of biodiversity of India, which is passed in 1972. It contains a list of protected species in the country. The ban on hunting was imposed and legal protection was provided to the habitats of the endangered species. Restrictions on trade in wildlife is also there in the act. Number of national parks and wildlife sanctuaries have been established throughout the country. Projects such as Project Tiger for the protection of tigers, and another project called Project Elephant, obviously, which is for the protection of the elephant, etc. were also formulated under this. Now we have Project Tiger. Project Tiger was initiated in the year 1973 and has been a great success in saving the tiger population. Tiger, which is our national animal, also needs protection. Is this not ironic? Tiger, as we all know, is an endangered species, and so saving tiger was a serious call. The major threat to tiger population is poaching, which means illegal hunting, which is done for the trade of tiger skins and bones, which are traditionally used in medicines in Asian countries. For the medicinal purpose, tigers are killed and they are sold in the international market. For this reason, the Government of India had to pass or had to make the project known as the Project Tiger. It had to pass the law against the killing of tiger. So children, here I have tried to explain the importance of flora and fauna for us human beings. As I said in the outset, that we are also the part of this entire system, the biodiversity, and this has to be shared by us along with the other animals. So I hope that you must have understood, and just to recall, I have a set of practice questions here. The first question is, name any 4 normal species. Normal means, as we discussed, it can be cattle, it can be plants like sal or pine or the rodents, etc. So these are the species which are still normal, which have not been threatened. Next question is, name any 4 endangered species. We know that endangered means which are threatened. So these are the animals, or these are the creatures which are threatened. Here we have black buck, crocodile, Indian ass, Indian rhinos. Next we have, name any 4 vulnerable species. Vulnerable, as we know, is the threatened or the exposed, the animals which are exposed to threats or being threatened or attacked. So in this species we have blue sheep, Asiatic elephant, Gangetic dolphin, etc. Next we have, name any 4 extinct species. Extinct means which are not found. In this category we have Asiatic cheetah, pink-headed duck, etc., which are extinct or which are not even seen today. So children, in this session I have tried to explain you the first part of the chapter. In the next session I will come with the next part of the chapter. Till then, thank you.